In 2015, I was working as a teacher, being paid 8,000 naira.
Yours was high.
I was being paid 8,000 naira, and then later on it was increased to 10,000, 12,000, but it never crossed the amount. I still am. So, but then I did not really know myself. That is, I did not know what I was supposed to be doing. I just knew that I'll be applying for medicine and surgery in school. At 13, I already knew how to administer drug.
Wow.
I already knew how to give injection. The only thing I did not know how to do was surgery.
Wow. Can you still do that
now? It's been long now. But have I discovered myself then? No. But I know that I was a bookworm. I always read, study, teach what I know. I know how to simplify things for people. There's a difference in clarity and self-discovery. There's a difference in clarity and self-awareness. There's a difference in clarity and self-definition.
In application, a lot of persons still discover and don't apply what they have discovered. So will you say, or how do people deal with the fears? Because I feel one of the reasons why people don't really push to achieve a lot of things is fears. Some people have fears of what people will say, fear of how will it be, fear of failure. So how did you deal with, did you not have any fear at a point? Hello viewers, you are welcome to the archive with Joshua Ikechukwu. Right here I'll be taking you through the untold stories, the behind the scenes of successful brands and individuals that we admire. But before we go into the conversation for today and I introduce my guests, I want you to like, subscribe and follow. Also share our content as it will help us reach out to more persons. Alright, today on our podcast we have an amazing person, somebody I admire, a very, very intelligent individual. You would get to meet him, but myself, I'll allow him introduce himself. Today, join me as I make welcome Mr. Raphael Ben.
Hello, good day.
Good day, Mr. Raphael Ben. How you doing?
I'm clear and I'm in motion.
Wow, okay. So, can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Right, it's good to be here. My name is Raphael Ben. I'm fondly known as the Gucci of clarity. So what I do is that I work with goal-oriented people and organizations to help them gain clarity so they can move with confidence, save time, and make precise decisions. So That's what I do.
Okay, let's go into the conversation for today. A lot of young persons are trying to figure out life, trying to discover themselves. I know you have not always been like this. You were not like this some years ago. So, can you tell us what Raphael Ben looked like, let's say 15 years ago?
15 years ago. Wow. 15 years ago. Well, 15 years ago, I just left secondary school.
Wow.
And it would amaze you that after secondary school, I was teaching. I was teaching in a primary school and then a secondary school. So I was teaching people who I was just 2 years older than.
Interesting.
So I was teaching, I taught from primary school to secondary school students. So I taught biology, chemistry, and a bit of maths to apply for medicine and surgery.
Okay, will you say, because a lot of young persons currently, maybe they just finished secondary school like you did and they are trying to navigate their life. Now, what was the journey of self-discovery? Because do you have an idea that you'll be doing what you are doing currently 15 years ago? I'm sure you did not.
All right. 15 years ago,
okay,
I'm the kind of person who is not, I'm more of a brain kind of person, or I work more with my brain than I do with my hands. So I was in between. Since I was out of secondary school, I was done with secondary school while waiting for JAMB and the rest. The two major things I knew I could do, let me make them three. The three major things I know that I could do without stress is either I was going to be teaching in school, or I was going to be working in an eatery as a waiter because I like serving.
Yeah.
And I know how to package meal. I don't know how to cook very well, but I know how to package food.
Okay.
And then thirdly, maybe work as a secretary somewhere because I'm very meticulous and I can keep details. So I just know that these three things are things I will either venture in while waiting to get into tertiary institution. So, but then I had to choose school because there are a couple of subjects I was very, very good at. And then as at then in 2015, I was working as a teacher being paid 8,000 naira.
Yours was high.
I was being paid 8,000 naira, and then later on it was increased to 10,000, 12,000, but it never crossed the amount. So, but then, like I said, I was an intelligent guy, which I still am, but then I did not really know myself. That is, I did not know what I was supposed to be doing. I just knew that I'll be applying for medicine and surgery in school. And I think I had that desire, or let me say interest, because my both parents are medical practitioners.
Okay.
At 13, I already knew how to administer drug.
Wow.
I already knew how to give injection. The
At
only thing I did
13?
not, yes, the only thing I did not know how to do was surgery.
Wow. Can
I
you
could
still do that
stitch.
now?
It's been long now, but I can
Okay.
administer drugs. I
Okay.
can,
Okay.
but you know, I'm not licensed, so I cannot do that
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, true.
But I can administer drugs. I understand drugs even by their medical names. I can easily identify, okay, this drug is either antipyretic for fever or anti-inflammatory for some skin issues and the rest. So, but then I applied for medicine and surgery. But have I discovered myself then? No. But I know that I was a bookworm. I always read, study, teach what I know. I know how to simplify things for people.
Okay.
So, but what has been the journey? What has led me from then till this point? I would sum them up in five phases. So the first one is self-awareness.
Yeah.
The second one is self-discovery. The
Okay.
third one is self-definition. The fourth one is self-application. The fifth one is self-improvement.
Wow.
So I passed through this journey to become who I am today, which I am still very involved in this journey because there are still phases that I get to move round and round. So self-awareness, I would not have discovered myself if I did not know there was a need to discover myself. Because of course I was intelligent, I knew that I wanted to apply for medicine and surgery, but then that's not all to life. Academics is not all to life,
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah.
So self-awareness, in a nutshell, I bumped into a fellowship and then I started showing up in that fellowship, and then I get to hear frequently that it's very important that you need to discover yourself, that you have a purpose in life, there's a reason why you were created, there's something unique you've been created to solve, and all of these things. So it builds my level of self-awareness, because self-awareness is simply being conscious of what's unique about you,
Okay.
who you are, your personality, your identity, all of these things. So being in that environment, the fellowship was just an outfit within that school, of which is literally a church called the Sanctuary Missions International. The lead pastor is Uche 1 Augustine. So I kept hearing it from him anytime we show up at church or fellowship. Discover yourself. That's one of the things that will help you make impact, influence, income, and all of these things. So he increased my level of self-awareness, and that drove me to the next phase, which is self-discovery. I had to ask myself, okay, Raphael, you're just intelligent, but you don't really know yourself. Yeah, because intelligence per se, would I say intelligence or brilliant? Because intelligence is literally your ability to be knowledgeable and use the knowledge to solve problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to question myself. Then it drove me to study, read books, meditate, listen, and of course, there was the God factor. Of course, I believe that I was created by God. I'm a son of God. So I have to ask God questions. Shana, you create me. Tell me who I am. And the rest. What am I on earth for? I asked questions. So he led me to self-discovery. While I was asking questions, I was writing down. Then he led me to self-definition. Because out of everything I discovered, I had to start defining myself, because I can discover a lot of things. Let's say I'm interested in dancing, does not make me a dancer.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get?
true.
So even if I was funny, does not mean I'll become a comedian. So I have to ask myself, okay, what are the things that you're passionate about? What are your pain points? What are the things that come naturally to you? What are the things that people come naturally to experience solution and the rest? So I moved from self-awareness to self-discovery, then to self-definition, where I had to start defining myself. Okay, I'm an educator, I'm a this, I'm a that, and the rest. So I started, I'm my kind of person, based on my personality, I am a mover.
Okay.
Once I learn, I do. Once I learn, I do. So it moved me to the next point, self-application. It would surprise you to know that when I discovered myself, I was 18. So when I was clocking 19, when I found out that, oh, Raphael, you make a very good counselor, I asked myself, where can I apply this? And it was in guidance and counseling, or let's say what we call guidance counselors in school.
Yeah.
So amazing that I've had to write letters to different schools in Port Harcourt. I wrote letters to different schools in Port Harcourt so I could become their guidance counselor. I did not have any certificates.
At 18?
Yes.
Wow.
Heading to 19.
Interesting.
Yes, I wrote different letters and I took it to by myself to these schools. Some schools, when I went there, they are like, when they look at me, I'm like, guy, there's no vacancy. I had the opportunity to talk with a proprietress, and she was like, there's no job like this here. There's nothing like this here. And that's, what certificate do you have? How old are you? All of these things. So, but I was driven to want to start applying myself. So even when I got into school, when I got into Uniport, because I later got admission into human physiology 2015.
Okay.
So even when I got into school, in year 1, I printed a form to guide people to discover it. To amaze you that when I discovered myself, I found out that my life's purpose, or what I'm cut out to do, is to help other people discover themselves.
Wow. You discovered yourself and you now help people discover themselves.
Exactly.
That's what you brought to this life to do.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So I started doing that. I created a form and I was trying to sell it for 500 naira. Nobody bought. Nobody. So, but I would say that I went through these 5 phases: self-awareness, self-discovery, self-definition, self-application, and then self-improvement, because I kept on improving myself.
Yourself. Okay.
So I've been doing this for long, and then that's brought me to this point, of which I won't stop doing, because like a part of my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have a very beautiful story.
Thank you.
One that is not everybody that has such story, because you have people that still die without discovering themselves. They pass through their youth, adulthood, and still end up not doing what they were supposed to do. People still die. In application, a lot of persons still discover and don't apply what they have discovered. So will you say, or how do people deal with the fears? Because I feel one of the reasons why people don't really push to achieve a lot of things is fears. Some people have fears of what people will say, fear of how will it be, fear of failure. So how did you deal with, did you not have any fear at a point?
Okay, the first question where you asked, how was I so sure?
Yes, so sure that this is it.
Helping people discover themselves is my own purpose.
Exactly.
Okay, so there's a difference in clarity and self-discovery. There's a difference in clarity and self-awareness. There's a difference in clarity and self-definition. So you see, how I was certain, because that's certainty. You can discover something and you're not so sure about it.
Yeah, true.
So one of the things, as the Gucci of clarity, when I help people discover their purpose or their life's assignment, I don't just help them discover alone. I help them to be sure. So there are a couple of things. I get to ask questions. For me, like I said, I was reading. I read, I meditated, I asked God questions, I read books. While I was reading, there are action points where there are questions I need to answer.
Yeah.
So when you answer a question and you have repeated answer, because repetition is the persuader of the mind.
Yeah, true.
So when something plays out again and again and again, when you see patterns, you can stamp and say, this is something that's, yes. So, for example, if I ask you, what are you passionate about? And you mention one thing, and I rephrase the question and I ask you again, and what you're saying is leading to that same thing, and I ask you again and again in different ways, and it's leading to that thing. That's certainty. That's clarity.
Oh.
But if I ask you and you just say one thing, that's discovery.
Yes.
But if I do it again and again, and your answer is leading to that same thing, that's certainty.
So clarity is certainty.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
That's conviction. You've heard about the quote or a scripture that says, in the amount of 2 or 3,
there's
this conviction.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you have 2 or 3 witnesses, it means this thing that they said
is correct.
So that repetition of the answers and results, because funny enough, some people think that discovering their purpose is completely spiritual. It's more psychological. Okay, it's more psychological.
Okay, that's another point. It's more psychological than spiritual.
Yes, because most of the answers you're looking for, they are within you.
Wow.
They are within you. And I have a belief system that God resides, as far as you're a believer, you believe in God, God resides within you. So what the answers you're looking for outside is just inside of you. That's why if I ask you, what were you doing at 12? Now your mind will start getting to work. Your conscious mind will start digging into your subconscious mind to fetch the answers of the things and experiences you've had. And you get the answer. So the thing is that people don't sit down to ask themselves questions. So that's the challenge.
Okay.
So it's not like some people say, God, tell me. Even when God wants to speak with you, he needs to be still.
Yes.
Who would want to build a house without sitting down to count the cost? It means that before you do anything that will amount to something relevant, you have to sit down, be at peace, and get answers. But those answers are triggered by questions. So you have to ask yourself questions, be still, answer, write down. Then you keep writing, ask yourself questions. You see things repeating, you see the answers. It's looking the same.
It's the same. Yeah.
That's how you get clarity. Because even when there were times where literally every day I ask myself every year I ask myself those questions.
And you still get the same answer every year.
So that's how I'm so sure.
So you just know that that's what you're supposed to do. Okay.
Sure. Like last year I ran the same questions on myself, and they're leading to the same thing.
Wow. So I think the problem is that many persons don't actually get to the point of clarity. They just get to stop at self-discovery. Okay, I can do this, and just run with it. And maybe that's why it's difficult for them to apply that discovery.
Well, I would say that people get to the point of discovery.
Okay.
But then after you've discovered, and for example, during my clarity section, once I've asked you questions, couple of questions, and the answers are repeating, and because we move from self-awareness to self-discovery to self-definition. By the time you're leaving my clarity section, you should be able to, in one sentence, define who you are and what you do.
Okay. That
definition has already brought clarity. It means that we've removed all the noise, all the things that look like mere interest to things that matter to you. We define who you are, and that's clarity. But what people don't do is that once they've written some things, then they dump it and continue their life.
Even after.
Exactly, because what you focus on grows. So if after discovering yourself and you have clarity, you can just say, well, let me continue my normal life. And because you refuse to focus on what you've discovered, it doesn't grow. You cannot build on it. So what you stay with grows. If you neglect it, you'll be stuck. And there are times where if you neglect it long enough, you almost start feeling confused that, am I sure this is because you did not take even any action. You should be reviewing it. Somebody should be able to ask you what you discovered about yourself, and you should be able to state it. Why? Because you get to look at it.
So once you get to the point of self-discovery and clarity, next thing is to apply implement it.
Because that's the most important thing in life. You were created for a reason. There's always something you can do about what you've discovered. You don't have to effect everything, all you've discovered immediately, but there's always a step. It could be research. It could be inquiries. It could be you saving up or getting a skill in line with what you've discovered, taking certifications and the rest, but there's always a step you can take. And that leads you further to self-improvement. Because you can discover something you're born to do, but you're not equipped yet to implement. That's why you have to grow.
The
vision makes the man, not the man just achieving the vision. So what you've discovered, you have to grow so that you can effect it.
You mentioned your temperament, that your temperament helps you. Once you are clear about something, you move immediately. Now, I'm asking people that don't have such temperament, maybe phlegmatic, Does your temperament affect how productive you are with your visions, with your goals, and who you become?
Yeah, I would say temperament affects how productive you become, but temperament is just one of the things.
Okay.
Okay, so you can override temperament.
Hmm.
You see, temperament makes up your personality. Temperament and character, rather, temperament and your personality makes up your character.
Okay.
So temperament is simply the traits of your parents or genealogy that is now passed down to you that you get to experience. But you see, character is something you build on. So temperament alone will make you either limited if you don't have that natural traits to want to move, make moves, pursue things. It would limit you. But temperament alone cannot make you productive. Temperament alone. So you have to grow too. So you need a place of character. There are some things you need to be. We're not all born with everything. Like a Canadian motivational speaker, Brian Tracy, will say, all skills are learnable. So there are things I'm not very good. I'm not very patient. Like the flex now, flex are very patient.
Yeah.
I'm not very patient, but I have to learn it. For example, if I close a deal with a client and I've already sent an invoice, I have to wait for the client to, if I become too desperate, I'm selling off desperation and then it can affect the deal. So I have to be patient. I have to learn it. So there are some things that we're not born with. We have to learn in order to achieve what we seek to achieve. So, but temperament plays a role, but you can't just hinge everything on temperament and say, because I'm not like this type of person, that's why this thing will not work for me. No. You always need to build, grow, learn, and grow.
Amazing. But I want to know, and I think our viewers too want to know, can you share some of your experience where you actually tried something and you failed in this journey? In your journey, maybe you tried something and it failed and it pained you, the one that pained you, and how you got up from that.
Okay, 2019, I was making an investment and I got good returns from that investment. I used it to set up an office and I employed some staff. So I wasn't able to keep up. I had those staff since 2019 till 2020. During Corona period, I had to lay them off.
Wow.
Not necessarily because of Corona, because I was still going through some issues that period because of the investments and the rest. So, but not necessarily because of Corona, but I laid them off. But I wasn't happy that I was forfeiting that office. Yes, so it was looking like that was not growth. That was deceleration.
Actually.
So I was not happy because one of my core values is growth. Growth. I always want to move further. I always want to make incremental progress. So that was looking like a decline for me. I was not happy at all. I was not happy at all.
Okay. Now, I want to ask because a lot of young persons, especially in their part of self-discovery, they feel doing things that are wrong, illegal, or not proper is the fastest and easiest way to achieve their kind of success. Now, I want to ask, is doing the right things really hard, and does it take more time? What's your opinion on that?
Okay, everything is hard before it's easy.
Okay.
I speak from my knowledge of psychology because I have a thing for psychology. I love psychology a lot. I feel like if you understand psychology, you can understand a lot of other things. So, what do we call hard? Hard is something that is difficult to do, right?
Yeah.
The human system or humans have been designed to love what is easy. That is why we would rather stay on bed till 12 before standing or getting up. That is why we would rather wake up and pick our phones, scroll through social media, because it's easy to do. So the right thing, in my own opinion, I believe the right thing is hard to do. The right thing is hard to do. That's why a lot of menace are being caused. If the right thing was not hard to do, everybody will be doing what is right. So if you are talking about progress, impact, building something, it's hard. It's hard, but you have to condition yourself, because the way the mind works is that it wants to do everything that's easy. Your mind will always want to prevent danger from happening to you. So instead of taking risk, your mind is telling, what if you fail? Is your mind giving you signals not to make any move? Why? Because your mind is protecting you from certain feelings. But because you have something higher, because when you look at the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the thing at the apex is self-actualization. So you move from survival to that point.
Yeah.
You see, if you want to stay at survival, you can just not do anything, but you still die because you'll be struggling to survive if you don't do the right thing.
Especially in a country like this.
Exactly. So, but if you're going to climb to that ladder, you will do the hard things. But guess what? The hard things are hard initially, but they become easy later.
Wow.
But the easy things are easy initially. The consequences become hard later. Hard for you to face later.
Okay.
Yes. Like I said, everything becomes hard before it becomes easy. Once you start doing something, your mind will start building a pattern for that thing, and it becomes easy for you to do, and it becomes your second nature. For example, if you're not used to studying and you start studying using the 2-minute rule, where you wake up every day, you just pick up the book, count 2 minutes, do that for one week, automatically you start looking at 2 minutes is small now. You increase to 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and you keep up. All of a sudden, you start seeing yourself. You just have this. You've conditioned your mind that whenever you wake up, probably brush your teeth. Once you sit on the table, you start reading.
Yeah.
It becomes easy because you've consistently done what is hard. It's just like escape velocity in physics. It takes a lot of energy for the plane to move from ground to the top, but it gets
Once
to a
it
point,
gets up,
you see, easy momentum. It keeps moving. So it's hard at first, becomes easy later.
Wow, amazing.
Thank you.
So the problem is not actually whether it's hard or not, whether it's hard or soft in that word. I think the problem now is that because the human nature easily moves towards things that are easy. So when you want to maybe achieve a level of growth, your body fights it, your nature fights it. So if you can do a bit beyond what your body wants, you can move into something better.
Yes, there's something called the path of least resistance.
Okay.
It means that people naturally take the path where they have little or no resistance at all. For example, it's easy to take carbonated drinks and no water.
Yeah.
That's the path of least resistance, because there's no resistance. Your body is like, this thing is sweet. Even if on the long run it will cost you some things.
Yeah.
So people naturally take the path that is easy to them.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's nature.
Wow. It has been an amazing time and really insightful.
Thank you.
Really insightful. So, as we round up, I know there are a lot of young persons that are watching this and will watch this. If there's anybody at a stage where the person is confused and not really confused, but the person is trying to navigate through life, and the person has gotten to the point where, is this thing really possible? Is it really possible to do the right things and still succeed? What advice do you have for such an individual?
All right, all things are possible if you believe. Okay? Says the scripture, all things are possible if you believe. And I'm quoting the scripture because first, we're all spirit beings.
Okay.
We're all spirits, we have a soul, and we live in a body. So I would say that my advice to you is, because I didn't tell you, I have a corporate brand called the School of Clarity. So like I said, I've been providing clarity for a decade now, and then I had to create a structure where people could enroll and gain clarity. They get to know who they are, their identity, their life's purpose, assignment, then build a brand, build a profitable brand from it. I am a sole believer that anybody can monetize or build a profitable brand from their calling. It might not necessarily be you doing that thing and people are paying you. You could build a brand around your uniqueness, around something you do. So if you're confused, you need to enroll for the School of Clarity.
Okay, you heard that. If you are confused, you need to enroll for the School of Clarity. You can check his handles. That's Raphael Ben.
Yes.
On all the social media platforms. You can get more information on that. I want to thank you so much for coming to this podcast. It has been an amazing time. I appreciate and I'm grateful. Thank you so much, sir.
It's my pleasure.
All right, thank you so much for being a part of this series or this episode of our podcast. Please like, subscribe, share on all social media platforms. Thank you so much.